Hello! We are the Cocorica team. Welcome to Cocorica's universe.
Yeah!
One of our main goals was to talk about inequality between men and women. We chose to do a comedy to reach a larger audience. We drew inspiration from animation movies like Coco or the TV series Fleabag, which deal with tough topics like death and loneliness with a lot of humor. Our first challenge was creating a universe mixing 3D and handcrafted models. We were attracted by combining detailed manual work with the freedom that animation offers. We wanted to get the viewer lost between what's real and what's fake. The village was designed to look like the chickens I made it themselves. So we used recycled materials. Just for the roof of the Cocorico, we produced 3,128 tiles.
I defined the scale of the model from a 3D layout. The blocking allowed me to establish the model measurements and the distances between them before shooting. I also used this blocking to create all the concept art and the final design of the houses. I relied on the blocking as well to create the camera placement and define a layout with workable distances.
In order to enhance the deep fake aspect of the story, we struck a balance between cartoonish and realistic art direction. This drove our decisions in terms of character design, animation, and rigging. For example, I decided to shape our chickens in a way that allowed them to behave like humans. Their knees bend forward, their beak move like lips, and their wings work like hands. The next step was mixing this process with the right animation style. We studied Despicable Me and Hotel Transylvania to find silhouettes and dynamics.
Mixing cartoonish and semi-realistic styles created a strong contrast between extreme and simple actions. We also worked in post-to-post to give more dynamism and personality to our characters. All of the choices accentuated the comedy in the film. I shot real references for the simple actions and drew posings to find the right shapes for the extreme cartoonish actions. The rigging supported the animated humor with an advanced skeleton, which I used to make a basic rig. This allowed us to adapt each character's personality to the animator's needs. I created around 100 facial and corrective bend shapes for every chicken. This simplified and improved the animation. I rigged the chickens as humans, but I gave them attributes of birds, like the head not following the body. To keep the proportions of the characters and follow all the deformations that a cartoon requires, I created lattices and the geometries for stretch and to keep the right volume.
Photogrammetries were key to working on our tiny set. They allowed us to have ticket camera movements and wide framing by using 3D cameras. For the long shots, we were able to use the same houses many times, which saved us from doing extra modeling work.
The deepfake reel for film posed yet another challenge: how to integrate CG elements seamlessly into a handcrafted environment. During modeling and texturing, I kept asking myself, how would we have made this by hand? I used stop-motion references from Paranorman, Wallace and Gromit, and the box trolls. I added details like fingerprints, scratches, and irregularities on the 3D models to keep a sense of scale, as if the characters were real figurines. The effects also needed to seamlessly integrate into our realistic, homemade environments in order to avoid a jarring appearance. I searched for examples that would work with our handcrafted models. Wes Anderson's movie, Isle of Dogs, gave me a stop-motion reference for the cottony aspect of the smoke. I used particles emission adapted by the smoke simulation to generate plausible movements. Next, I copied clouds onto it. Finally, the cartoon Tex Avery gave me ideas about how to give a cartoonish style to my effects in accordance with our animation.
Thanks to the VFX supervision at the shooting, I had all my references for each shot: measurements, characters, light intensities, HDR, grayables, etc. So I conform our shooting set in Maya. I replaced the cameras and the light with HDR. I used the photogrammetries to have coherence bounce light on the CG. I made the case shadows with flow poly and shadow matte to finalize the integration. For the compositing, I needed to wear out the CG, sharpen some plates, match values, and respect the DOF information. For example, when Frida arrived at the Cocorico, I mixed shadow on the model and the CG door. I also added photogrammetries to complete the village. All these details allowed me to break the connection between real and fake.
We hope Cocorica made your day and brought you joy and fun. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us. Bye!